Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars. So we were just told by the detective that he was taken off the case and the case is closed. I've also slept since last recording, so I may have forgotten a few things. We're also looking for the museum guy or trying to steal the tripod from the museum, which maybe there's more of a trick to that and we have to talk to the girl. Maybe she'll help us rob the museum. But first things first, we've got to ask some questions. How can the case be closed? Being told this information, it starts to make a little bit of sense that George would be doing all the investigation for this murder and the bombing of the cafe. But only kind of at this point, once you're told directly, oh, this case has been closed and they don't care and they're not going to investigate it. Up to this point, you really are just acting as a vigilante, and it's I know this is a silly game and that's why they're quickly overlooking that, but they don't really address it, nor do they give proper motivation as far as why this innocent bystander would do all this work.
Did you find out the ID of the guy who was killed in the explosion?
I already knew who he was.
Really? Interesting.
I heard that the bomb victim's name was Plantar.
Your sources are reliable.
He was a big shot at the Treasury, wasn't he? Maybe that's why you've been taken off the case.
I'm sorry, monsieur. I cannot comment.
So let's talk about Khan.
Don't you want to know what I found out about the killer?
I told you, monsieur, the case is closed. I have washed my hands of the whole affair.
Then I'll have to continue my investigations without your help.
No. You must forget the business of the crown completely. Go back to being an ordinary tourist, Stobbart.
Let's talk about the gangsters.
Do you know a pair of thugs called Flap and Guido?
I have known those two since they graduated from special school. Flap is a nasty piece of work. But Guido is the real brains of the partnership. Where did you hear of them?
I met them out front of the Hotel Ubu.
And then we just have the Templars conversation they have, and we'll see if that actually does anything. It probably won't.
Have you heard of the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. But of course, monsieur, their fame is widespread throughout France. We haven't forgotten them, unlike the rest of Europe.
It was the King of France who persecuted them, though.
Indeed.
That shook his cool. Underneath his cultured facade, the man was real twitchy. You're obviously a great admirer of the Knights Templar.
They were men of great honor, monsieur. The flower of chivalry.
Not everyone would share your views, Inspector.
Not everyone shares my passion for Bartok.
But if the Templars were as honorable as...
That's enough. I do not wish to hear your uninformed opinions, Stobbart.
Why do you get so wound up about the Knights Templar? They've been dead for centuries. I shouldn't have pushed my luck. Maybe his ancestors were Templars. Whatever. I saw the anger flare in his eyes like a distant summer thunderstorm.
The Templars were the first true internationalists. 800 years on, and still the world is fragmented by nationalistic flag-waving fools. You will excuse me.
So he's a real fan of the Templars. But that exhausts all the conversation, so I just have to click back. Kind of a problem here, it didn't just end automatically once everything has been exhausted.
So long, Inspector.
Just because it kind of locks you into this conversation, and then so I exit one conversation to exit back to the other guy's conversation.
See you later, Sergeant.
So I have to double exit. So we get this new piece of information, and what's kind of weird is this line of dialogue might have been in a different order if I had come here earlier. We've had the opportunity to go to the police for a while. So we have this museum And I want to go to the cafe and see if anything's changed. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go back to Rue Jarry and see if perhaps I need the help of Nicole. Yeah, it seems like I could go back in the sewers, but there's no reason to. And it doesn't seem like anything has changed over here. And we could use the phone, we could talk to this guy on this screen, but the other two screens seem completely empty. So let's go back to Rue Jarry, back at Nicole's apartment. It skipped to that part.
Hi. I've been to the Crew Museum.
Did you speak to Lobineau?
No, he wasn't there.
So that's exactly what they wanted us to do in the game, is go to the museum and then come back and talk to Nicole and not really accomplish anything else. So let's talk about the killer clown.
Have you found out any more about the murders?
Well, it may be nothing, but both the clown's victims visited Paris earlier this year.
When?
The second week of July. They were both here at the same time.
Did they meet?
I don't know, but I can't imagine it was coincidence.
So she's using information from the director's cut scene, or more accurately, I suppose you could say, the added footage from the director's cut is explaining where she got that information, whereas in the original Broken Sword game, you just assume she got it through contacts and research. She really, I guess in the main game, is just this information dump character. She's gonna just tell you the few loose strings that you can't get anywhere else. Let's ask about the tripod.
I found the tripod.
Where?
In the museum. It belonged to the Templars. It was dug up in Ireland at a place called Lochmarn.
I have heard of Lochmarn. I read an article about the castle. Take a look for yourself.
A popular gossip magazine. You read that rubbish?
No, I write it.
Professor Nigel Pegram, excavating the medieval castle at Lochmarn. That's strange.
What?
He resigned his chair at Durham University in order to devote his time to the excavation. Not only that, but he canceled the filming of a fourth series of his popular television program. This site at Lochmarn must be awful important to him.
He's a professor of history. They're all cuckoo.
All the same, I'd like to talk to this Professor Pegram. How do you feel about a trip to Ireland?
Disappointed.
Really?
Huh?
That I won't be going. I want to follow up the Bellotta case. If you really think Pegram's gem is important, why don't you visit Lochmarn?
On my own? I'm not so sure about that. Where is Ireland exactly?
You're traveling across Europe and you don't know where Ireland is. Weird. So, if the game really does send me to Ireland, that would be an unexpected trip.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
So let's see what it says when we click on this.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod.
So there is nothing new there. But I can't exit either.
A knight with a crystal ball. The knight's scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened.
Come on, the back button's not working.
Look there, two guys on the same horse.
This is strange. The back button's showing up, but it's just not happening.
There's a guy working on a loom. There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has three hideous faces.
And so then it allows me to back out. But I had to look at everything.
I have to go.
Okay, I'll see you later.
So, I guess we'd go to Ireland. So, to the airport we are headed, I suppose. And I guess you figured out where Ireland is. And so we go from France to Ireland, Lochmark, and how is the map these days? I wouldn't be surprised if this map was new. I wouldn't be surprised if that article that it showed us was new. Just little pictures, little bits of art that would have been just talked about, and you would have sat there and watched George look at a piece of paper but not seen it. Mostly accurate map, I would say, of Europe. A few hours later.
I passed the castle on the way into Loch Marne. The castle where Peagram's excavation was located.
So, we've just changed to a completely different act, I suppose, in Ireland. And we'll have to move forward from that point. What's the deal with the ripples in the glass, I wonder?
I tugged at the trapdoor, but it was locked from the inside.
So these are the trapdoors that they bring the alcohol in. We have all of our items still. We have a circuit box.
I tugged at the plastic cover, but it didn't move.
We have the lounge. And we can walk this way. And this guy is here, and there's a door. Is this the castle where the tripod was found?
Pushing with all my strength got me nowhere. They didn't budge. I really need to start working out.
So we're left with some modern issues. Before we can get in the castle, we'll just have to figure out how to get around it. Let's talk to this guy first.
Hi, do you speak English?
Well, no, what if I was to say no? An implication of cognizance shrouded in denial. A pretty poser of a paradox indeed.
I gave him the look I'd perfected when I was 12 and was going to be the greatest hypnotist of all time. It was a killer.
Are you attempting to hypnotize me, or is it the constipation you're suffering?
I was a little out of practice.
So, let's ask about, is this the history professor?
Have you seen Professor Peagram?
No, he's packed up and gone.
Do you happen to know where?
Back in England, I suppose.
And let's ask about the castle.
What can you tell me about the castle?
Not much, I'm sorry to say. Most of its history is long forgotten. But if these old stones could only speak, what stories they'd tell. Stories to make your toes curl and your blood run cold. You know, this castle is said to be over 600 years old.
And now we've hit this realm of ridiculousness because, of course, he's not going to have any connection to half of these items. But we can click on them anyways since we've got them.
Does this tool mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't. Is it used on sheep?
No, it's for lifting the covers off drains.
Never. How?
Well, the end of the tool fits into the hole in the cover.
They'd slip out. Angles are wrong. You'd never do it.
I have. I did it in Paris.
Let's ask about the Kleenex.
What do you make of this tissue?
That's a sorry sight to wave about in public.
Does this false nose mean anything to you?
You're a circus clown.
How about the matchbook?
What do you make of this matchbook?
Seems ordinary enough to me.
How about the business card?
Do you recognize the name on this card?
I can't read that little writing.
And then the picture.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, but I wouldn't trust him. His eyes are too close together.
Okay. And let's see if we can joy buzz him.
Would you like to shake my hand?
What is this? I don't do that male bonding stuff.
I have to go now.
So, we had a conversation with the guy, but it didn't really do anything. So, we'll have to go back a screen. Let's talk to this kid. Hanging out at the
Hi
pub.
there.
What?
What's your name, kid?
Who are you calling kid? Who the
His
hell
face
are you?
is a little old looking. If we on the zoom in here, he looks like a 19-20-year-old by his face, but by his height I wouldn't put him 12 or 14. So should I lie or should I say I'm a myself? Let's say I'm the detective.
Rosso's the name. Murder's my game.
Are you a detective?
Let's just say I'm here to find the truth.
Cool. Just like on the telly.
Cut the crap and tell me your name.
Liam McGuire.
What are you doing hanging around the bar, McGuire?
I'm on the run from me dad.
Why? Did you do something bad?
I ain't done nothing, boss.
You can tell me, kid. Is it your dad?
Oh, sir. He drinks every last penny down his evil throat. And there's me poor old mother, bedridden and dying of presumption. I tried to buy her medicine.
He means consumption.
Chopped firewood for Father Mahoney till me fingers bled. The old skinflint cheated me too. But I took the pennies he gave me back home. Look, Ma, says I, see what your darling son has earned with his own sweat and blood. When suddenly, me dad appears and grabs the loot. I'm off to Dublin, heavy drinking, says he. Watch out till I get back. That's why I runned away.
Something in the grin on his face told me he wasn't being strictly truthful. Compared to him, Huckleberry Finn was a candidate for Altar Boy of the Year.
So, just a big fake sob story there. Let's ask questions.
What can you tell me about the castle, McGuire?
What do you want to know?
Well, can I get inside?
No, it's locked up.
Does anyone live there?
No. Only, what do you want to know? Oh, nothing.
You know something about the castle you're not
That
telling
was
me,
like
don't
the
you?
wrong
No.
voice file.
What is it you're covering up? Is it something you're scared of?
I ain't scared of nothing.
It played the wrong sound file. I bet that is probably a consistent bug. Games this old typically don't have random flukes.
I'll give you one last chance to tell me about the castle.
Oh, yeah? And what if I don't?
Then I'm taking you back to school.
Oh, there's a ghost. It's called the Phantom of Loch Man.
So, that's not why would you be resistant to talk about it. Maybe he's superstitious.
You're not telling me you believe in ghosts, are you?
Mister, I seen it with me very own eyes. Last Tuesday night, I went up to see what that dig was about. I just reached the top of the wall when I hears this awful noise.
What sort of noise?
A horrible snuffling and snorting, like O'Brien's pig, only worse. It was coming from inside the castle.
Let's continue down this line.
Did you find out what was making the noise in the castle?
No fear. I just sat there on the wall like Humpty Dumpty. The moon was cracked and greasy like an old dinner plate. The yard was full of shadows that could have been hiding anything. I would have gone home, but my legs had lost their stuffing.
So there's certainly a way you could play that would be probably the worst way to play a game like this, where you just cycle through all the conversations and then not listen to or pay attention to what's being said. And then you certainly would lose 60% plus of the entire game if you're not listening to what's being said. Of course, I'm not going to play that way. That would be silly.
Did you get to see the ghost?
Indeed I did. And a fearsome sight it is too. I sat on my arse, waited while the moon went down. Then out it comes from the shadows, all grey and tattered and hunched over like an old bent willow. Then I hears this spluttering and splashing and horrible laughter in the dark. I was so scared. Why, I fell off the bloody wall.
I'm sure there's a rational explanation for what you saw at the castle.
There is. The bloody place is haunted.
So that's all we can say about that. Let's ask about the clown.
Do you know a man called
why.
Pegram?
Can you describe him like on the telly in the cop shows?
He's an English archaeologist.
I know the man you mean if he's the one.
I clicked on the wrong thing, whatever. I don't know why I'm describing him as the clown. Obviously the clown outfit was just a disguise. I suppose the reason why they use this icon is just so you can differentiate on a little smaller resolutions. He looks like Ronald McDonald, really.
Can you tell me where I'd
An
find
evil
Pegram?
Ronald McDonald.
No, I can't, because he's not here now. But if I sees him, I'll ask him.
Let's keep going with the Pegram questions.
Do you know what Pegram was doing in the castle?
Digging for buried treasure. Jewels and gold and skeletons, like in the films.
Okay.
Have you seen a guy dressed as a clown?
Here in Lochmarn, they all dress like clowns.
The man I'm looking for is a dangerous psychotic.
Jesus. It's just like that film I saw. There's this clown, see? And he's after this kid who saw him kill a guy. He tries to warn the sheriff, only no one believes him. Then, while he's in the tub, the clown cuts him up with a chainsaw.
My God, that doesn't sound suitable for a kid like you.
Who are you calling a kid? I'm 25.
Yeah, right. You're not a day over 14.
Oh no, it's 25 that I am. Married with a car and 3 kids. 10 kids if you count the wives.
So he's claiming to be 25. And with this picture, you could almost believe it, but the height confuses that. Let's ask dumb questions now.
What do you think this tool is used for?
Lifting drains.
Dead right. How did you know that?
Work experience course at school. That gives me a choice of going down the drains or up the chimney.
You're kidding. What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing.
Have you ever seen anyone wearing one of these?
Sure. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That belongs to the killer clown you're looking for.
That's right.
Can I have it?
Sorry. I'm keeping this as evidence.
You should have told the cops.
I did. They weren't interested.
You should run tests on that, mister. You could identify the murderer with a sample of his snot.
Yuck. I don't think so. Do you recognize this matchbook, McGuire?
No, sir. I never seen it before in my life.
Ever heard of Thomas Merlin? Or the Gruber Electronics Corporation?
No?
Have you ever seen this man before?
What a slimy character. No, I never seen him.
So let's see if we can shock him.
Give me your hand.
Get lost.
Oh, come on. I just want to show you a little trick.
No way, mister. I don't do tricks. Father Mahoney told me I'd burn in hell if I did.
I just want to shake your hand, that's all.
No way.
See you later, kid.
Okay, mister.
So we're getting information, but not actually any useful information. Let's go inside the pub. A lot of people here, but I don't think... Oh wow, you really can talk to everybody. And there's some kind of dishwasher raging on. Let's see what this is. Pick up the item first. We've got a telephone that we can't use, or maybe we can use it after I pick up the item.
It was a beer-stained piece of toweling.
So we can't use the phone. Interesting. So let's talk to the bartender, I suppose, and then see if we're gonna actually have to talk to everybody else in this area. Well, I guess technically we're gonna have to do that in the next recording. Let's do something intelligent here and actually use more than one save file. Why not use them all? The game says we're at 35%, and now it says it's been 20 hours since I opened the game originally, because I've slept in between recordings, but that doesn't really matter. So we've hopefully aren't going to end up having to do a ridiculous amount of conversations with people. Hopefully at least 3, 4, maybe 5 people tell me just to buzz off when I talk to them. Otherwise, I'm going to have to click so much dialogue and listen to so many people talking for probably no good reason anyways. Anywho, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps out. If you want to support me further, go to my main YouTube page. On the right is a button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.